Hello there, this is Mr. Will. Hope this finds you and your family doing well. This video is for our small groups, Feed Me Pie and Divide and Conquer, for Monday, March 30th, 2020. I am going to be filming myself, it's kind of odd, filming myself and sharing these videos with you every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And the purpose of these videos is to lead you through new concepts and skills that we're going to be learning together. And then you are going to be working on your own through these concepts and skills. However, you are not by yourself. I'm going to be with you along the way, answering any questions that you may have, both with office hours every day from 9 to 10 a.m. and then also through email. If you email me, I will get back to you within the hour to answer any question that you may have when you are working independently. We are going to be doing our very best. I know this is kind of uncertain times and kind of uncharted territory, but we're gonna make through it together and do our very best with this. Without further ado, let's get into some math. So when we left off in class, we were talking about proportional relationships. We're going to continue talking about proportional relationships, but we're going to be focusing with percents within proportional relationships, in particular with real-world scenarios. So you can find percents in proportional relationships in many places, and you probably have experienced them already. For example, if you go to a store, they mark up the amount of what they're selling you a certain amount. That markup, that's a percent of a proportional relationship. Maybe simple interest, and that's what we're going to be focusing on today. If you borrow a certain amount of money, you are repaying that with interest. That simple interest is an example of percent in a proportional relationship. If you have tax, if you purchase something and you're paying tax, that tax is a percent. Gratuity, if a service is provided and you give a percent of the amount that is due as a tip or gratuity, that is a percent of a proportional relationship. Or if you sell something and you earn a commission, that commission can be a percent in a proportional relationship. But again, today we're going to be focusing on simple interest within proportional relationships. Now, simple interest, you might ask, is a percent of an amount borrowed that is paid to the lender in addition to the amount that is borrowed. What? Well, let's break it down. I have a problem here, and we're going to work through problems each day before I kick it to you to do some work independently. Our problem today here is about my friend Josh. Josh borrows $300 from his sister to buy a bike. Not a bad bike, $300. He promises to pay the total amount plus 5% simple interest over a year. How much will Josh pay back in all? Now, we can really think about this problem and help wrap our minds around it by using something called a bar diagram. So Joshua is going to repay the total amount that would be the top bar. So the total amount would be all of it. We can represent that with T, or the total amount repaid. Now, the total amount can be broken up into two parts. The part that Josh borrows and the simple interest. When we add those together, it will equal the total amount that's borrowed. So the first part of our bar diagram is going to be the amount borrowed. So we're going to label that amount borrowed. The other side that we need to repay back is the simple interest in a year. So it would be amount of interest. Now, that doesn't really help us solve the problem, but what it allows us to do is sort of wrap our minds around what the problem is asking us. Now, let's model this using an equation to help us find out what is the amount that Josh needs to repay. So we can take the amount borrowed and assign it a value straight from our problem. So, does anyone know? What is the amount that Josh borrowed? What's that? Did you say $300? You're a smart cookie. So the amount borrowed would equal $300. Very good. Now we need to find the amount of interest. So the amount of interest. The amount of interest from the problem, what is it? You're right, 5%. 5% of what? 5% of the amount that was borrowed by Josh. So 5% of $300. Good. Now, when you take the amount borrowed plus the amount of interest, that's going to give you your total that needs to be repaid, or T, which stands for total repaid. Okay? Now, 300, that stays the same. We have to do a little bit of math and find out what is 5% of 300, aka simple interest. So 5% as a decimal, that's right, would be 0.05 times 300. Now, if you cannot solve that right in your using mental math, let's do the math and write it out. So I take 300 times 0.05, don't forget your decimal, okay? 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times 3 is 15. We count over our decimal places 1, 2, and the simple interest that we need to repay is $15. So we take the amount of simple interest, which is $15, plus the amount borrowed, 300, and what is the total amount that Josh has to repay? That's right, it would be $315. Now, what I'd like you to do is take this strategy and this skill and see if you can work through the problems on page 105 of your instruction book. Now, I have sent a direct link. I know that you do not have your workbook at home, but that's okay because I am able to download and upload the links to each workbook page that I'm going to be assigning daily. So what I'd like you to do is complete page 105 of your instruction book today. If there are any questions that you might have as you are working through this page, please reach out to me, let me know, and I will get back to you quickly to answer any questions that you may have. Now, there are two ways that you can complete your work on page 105. Number one, you can save what I have sent and you can answer them within text boxes on the page, or you can answer your work on a piece of loose leaf or notebook paper, take a picture, and email me your work. Each assignment is going to be graded. You are responsible for the work that is assigned. I'm going to check it. I'm going to give you comments. I might be emailing you directly. And the work is going to be entered in the grade book. We're taking this a week by week, and hopefully we'll be back at school again at some point, and we'll be able to pick right back up where we left off from the last video lesson. So I'm really excited about that, to be working with you in a little bit of a different capacity, but we are going to be working together and doing our very best to make the most of a difficult situation. So I am here, willing and wanting to work with you and to do a little bit of math with you, and let's make the best of this together. Until tomorrow, good luck, and reach out to me if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. See you tomorrow. Thanks so much.